Good morning and welcome to VUU on this beautiful Sunday morning. I'm Melanie Cloonan-Schulte, your worship associate. We welcome introverts and extroverts and all manner of converts. If you are here in the sanctuary, welcome. And if you are watching the live stream on YouTube, welcome. Let's now actually wave to our friends who are watching us online. If you wave at that camera. And if you're a guest that's here with us for the first or second time, this is the part of the service when we ask you to stand and do a backflip. I'm joking. But for some people, being asked to stand may feel equivalent to doing a backflip. So only if you're able and if you're comfortable, please stand now so that we can greet you. There is always a welcome circle for newcomers at the back corner after the service. You can grab some refreshments and meet some of our members, ask us questions, and question our answers. Also, after the service, as always, there is lay pastoral care available. If you have something that you need to share, get off your chest, or just need a listening ear. Here in the sanctuary, up at the front, it will be Lisa Bonine. Lisa is there, and online it will be Dan Schulte. And now let's enter into the sanctity of our service by lighting our chalice and reciting the words by which we do that together. We kindle this flame, symbol of our faith, for the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of love, which calls us to work for justice. Let me make songs for the people, songs for the old and young, songs to stir like a battle cry wherever they are sung.
Not for the clashing of sabers, for carnage, nor for strife, but songs to thrill the hearts of men with more abundant life.
Let me make songs for the weary amid life's fever and fret, till hearts shall relax their tension and careworn brows forget.
Let me sing for little children before their footsteps stray, sweet anthems of love and duty to float o'er life's highway.
I would sing for the poor and aged when shadows dim their sight, of the bright and restful mansions where there shall be no night.
Our world, so worn and weary, needs music, pure and strong, to hush the jangle and discords of sorrow, pain, and wrong.
Music to soothe all its sorrow, till war and crime shall cease, and the hearts of men grow tender, girdle the world with peace.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Katie Seiferth. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the director of Music Ministries, and we are going to sing together. So let's go ahead and stand in body or in spirit. I trust that you will take care of yourself. If you need to sit, you're welcome to sit. If you need to get up and move, you're welcome to do that. And we're going to sing this song called Resilience. Now, the 1 hour choir sang it beginning of the month, and now we're going to sing it together because there's something that is very healing to our nervous system when we sing in harmony. So I'm going to teach you just a couple parts where we're all going to sing in harmony together. And then if that's really fun for you, I welcome you to our choir that meets Wednesday nights here at 6 o'clock. So the first part starts on a B flat. Can I get a B flat? And it goes like this. Just follow along with me. Resilience. We are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience, we are strong. Shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can again. Resilience, we are strong. Shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience. Nice. You guys sound good. Okay, now if that's comfortable for you, stay there. But if you are a higher voice, this will be your part. So let's hear an F. Goes like this. Resilience, we are strong. Shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience, we are strong. Shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can. One more. Resilience, we are strong. Shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience. Yeah, some of you are already putting the harmonies together. All right, let's put both those parts together. So the lower part, here's the B flat. The higher part. Here we go. And resilience, we are strong. Shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience, we are strong. Shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience, we are strong. Shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan. Stand up and say, yes, we can. Resilience, we are strong. Shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, and I know we are blessed. Stand up and say, yes, we can. Come off the mics. Resilience, we are strong. You can be seated.
When do you want to do that part? Okay, unless you... No, go for it. We don't have a slide for it. So just, okay.
Good morning. Guys, we're actually going to do something a little different for Time for All Ages today, so if you want to stay with your families... So sorry, you guys, we're all prepared and I love it, but we're doing a little something weird today. So good morning, my name is Kelsey McIntyre. I use the pronouns she, her, and I am the Faith Formation Assistant. First, before we do Time for All Ages, could I have Ian come up to the front? I know he's all the way in the back, so I'm going to talk about him while he walks. I just wanted to take a moment to recognize the hard work of one of our young congregants, Ian. He is in 2nd grade and recently was awarded his UU Religious Medal in Scouts. Yeah! And Marcy and I just wanted to give him a little something to celebrate that. Work like that from our kids reminds us to keep working on our own spirituality and that we're never done learning and growing. So thank you, Ian. So like I said, we're going to do something a little different for Time for All Ages today. I have a video in honor of Black History Month. It's by PBS Kids, and it's about race, racism, and identity. It's a really touching video. It is 28 minutes long. We won't be watching all of it. So I took a few key segments that I thought were really touching because we wanted to encourage everyone to keep talking about race and racism. It's a really hard topic to talk about, especially with kids. It's really heartbreaking to delve into those things and realize that the world is not perfect. It needs a lot of work. And luckily, we're in a place with a lot of people who believe in doing that work and continuing to make changes for the better. So with that, let's watch a few segments of race, racism, and identity.
Today's going to talk about race, racism, identity. Are these conversations that you have at home sometimes?
Yeah.
When people say, we're talking about race, what do you think of?
I get two things.
Okay.
A race, like an actual race, like
Okay. And what's the second one?
probably skin color. Different skin colors. But we're humans. We can speak. We can express our emotions. The human race, basically.
The human race.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sadie, how would you describe the word race?
Skin color.
And then how would you describe the word racism?
Not treating people fairly just because of their skin color.
Because of their skin color? And is that fair?
No.
Doesn't matter what their skin color is. We should treat everyone the same.
The conversation around just the differences in our skin is talked about so negatively, like it's a secret, and it's actually something to be celebrated and something to be proud of.
It's very important to talk about race and how are people different.
How come?
Because some black people aren't being treated as fairly as white.
So when we talk about people being treated differently because of the color of their skin, that's
Racism?
racism. Yes.
Racism is black people and white people not collabing.
The lens is constantly on black and white people, but the practice of racism, meaning someone just completely dismissing or dehumanizing another person based on the color of their skin, happens to so many communities around the world.
Racism is somebody taking advantage of somebody else's skin color.
Right. People can be prejudiced against other people because they speak different languages, because they're different religions, because they come from other countries. They see a difference and they look down on that difference. But racism is treating people badly because of their skin color. And that is treating people badly because they have black skin. It's also treating people badly because they have brown skin.
You know, at breakfast, we'd talk about the uniqueness of ethnicities and cultures and people and the different tones of skin, that we shouldn't be colorblind, so to speak, but we should acknowledge the beauty of diversity.
Mom has a lot of Black history books, so we always do those.
Okay.
And they're really, really, really fun.
Your mom has done a lot with the homeschool curriculum. Remember anything specific about any of the books that you read through with Mom?
Yes. So it really taught me a lot about how even if they think my skin color is bad, how I still love it. I still am grateful for it.
I'm very happy to hear that because it says to Daddy that the way our family has been teaching you about your identity really is helping shape how you think about yourself. And it's beautiful to see.
We do talk about racism.
Like while we're eating dinner.
That's true, and sometimes those conversations, they're not always fun, and sometimes they make us sad. We talked about schools being segregated too, right? Like your school, that building was one of the first schools that was used for black children in DC.
Yeah.
They used skin color as a reason for saying that some kids couldn't go to school with other kids, and they weren't allowed to mix.
I don't think that was okay. Because it's not fair for somebody to have more than another person because of their skin color.
Yeah.
Even now, we're still living through situations that are reminiscent of that time.
Segregation.
So a lot of racial discrimination, but back then it was definitely a part of the law.
Were you born yet? No.
I think it was a little pre-Dad and I. That's around the time of civil rights, so maybe in like the 50s and 60s.
Oh, so Nanny and Grandpa were alive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually a lot better now than it was a long time ago. Like Peepaw, your granddad, when he grew up, he had to go into different schools. Peepaw had to go to an all-black school. He wasn't allowed in the white school.
Was the black school like the white school, or was it a little different?
It was very different. It was very different.
Really?
It wasn't nearly as nice as the white school. And it was just because he was black.
That's not fair.
That's not fair at all.
It's important to be fair because it's not right to treat people just because of their skin tone, that they should be treated badly. I just want it to be equal so everybody could just have a good life.
I agree with that, Ray.
So I know that this is just the beginning of our conversations about race and racism. And there's a lot of things that I don't know, a lot of things you don't know.
I know that I don't know everything there is about racism.
Together, we can figure out a lot of these tough, hard questions. And even in the future, I hope that there is an open communication between us. Feel better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason that we talk about racism is because we want to make sure we stand up against that so that it doesn't continue, right?
Mm-hmm. There is no one right way to talk about racism, and as long as we can start to build those conversations from a respectful place, I say we talk about it more. It's time.
I'm very proud of being black because I'm rich in my skin color, I'm rich in nature, I'm rich in everything. Mm-hmm. I feel inspired when I have these conversations.
Oh my gosh. I didn't tell him to say that. So I'm like really taking this in right now. That means everything to me. Can we still pound? I love you.
Me too.
So I know I didn't get it around to all of you. Sorry, I did not make enough copies, but I handed out a little sheet of paper, and hopefully if there are extras floating around, we can get them to this front area over here. It has a QR code to watch the full video. It's a beautiful video, as well as some additional reading information so you guys can continue to talk about this with your kids and your loved ones. Before we sing the kids out, I do want to mention that next week we're doing a multi-generational service around the Stone Soup book. So we're having some sign-ups to bring food so we can all make delicious soup together. I do have some flyers in the back near my table. If you guys would like to pick one up, it has a QR code to sign up. There's also something in the happenings if you'd rather click on that link. So if you would please join me in creating the Bridge of Love, we'll sing the kids out. Thank you.
Sign up, sign up, sign up. And bring the kids to the kids' choir next Sunday.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
How many of you have signed up to bring something next week? Okay. Those of you who haven't, remember our soup is dependent on you hopefully bringing not just stones. There will be some activities for all of us, including some discussions for the adults that Valley Interfaith will be leading. So come, it'll be fun. You'll get to connect with other people, and we'll have lunch afterwards. Our centering reading today is connected to the music that will be sung for you by the choir, and I wanted to excerpt some of the poem that it comes from. The words are from Walt Whitman, and you'll hear some of them echoed in the choir piece. I want to invite you to take a moment to notice the struggle that he felt, which many of us have felt, between solitary spiritual retreat in nature. How many of you think that sounds good? And spiritual invigoration, being among the people of a community, pulsing with life. All of you came here today, so I imagine some of you might also find that intriguing. And perhaps like Whitman, you are sometimes torn between these. Solitary nature, people. Whitman says, "Give me the splendid silent sun with all his beams full dazzling. Give me juicy autumnal fruit, ripe and red from the orchard. Give me a field where the unmowed grass grows. Give me an arbor. Give me the trellised grape. Give me fresh corn and wheat. Give me serene moving animals teaching content. Give me nights perfectly quiet, as on high plateaus west of the Mississippi, and I looking up at the stars. Give me, odorous at sunrise, a garden of beautiful flowers where I can walk undisturbed. Give me solitude, give me nature. Give me again, O nature, your primal sanities. These demanding to have them tired with ceaseless excitement and racked by the war strife. And yet, on the other hand, he says, keep your splendid silent sun. Keep your woods, O nature, and the quiet places by the woods. Keep your fields of clover and timothy and your cornbreads and orchards. Keep the blossoming buckwheat fields where the 9th month bees hum. Give me faces and streets. Give me these phantoms incessant and endless along the streets. Give me interminable eyes. Give me women. Give me comrades and lovers by the thousand. Let me see new ones every day. Let me hold new ones by hand every day. Give me such shows. Give me the streets of Manhattan. Give me Broadway with the soldiers marching. Give me the sound of trumpets and drums. The life of the theater ballroom, huge hotel for me. The saloon of the steamer, the crowded excursion for me. The torchlight procession. The dense brigade bound for the war with high-piled military wagons following. People, endless, streaming with strong voices, passions, pageants. Manhattan streets with their powerful throbs, with the beating drums as now. Manhattan faces and eyes forever for me. So as I invite you into this time of centering, we know the push and pull of the things in our lives, the things that invite us into action and connection, conversation and argument, engagement, and the things that renew us, that give us rest, opportunity to renew. And what's renewing for you might be unrestful for me, and vice versa. So take a moment to notice what is in your heart, whether you might need to light a candle of prayer or celebration or grief, or move a stone into the water and notice the way in which the water washes it clean. Or touch the sand and the stones and notice what it is to be of the earth. Or maybe you just need to sit in your seat today and let it all wash over you. However you need to be cared for in this moment, I invite you into a time of centering and connection to notice what's in your heart and in the world around you that needs your attention.
The first time I ever heard of Unitarian Universalism was when I found out that the vice principal at my all-girls Catholic high school was a Unitarian Universalist. I had no idea what it was and assumed it was just another Protestant denomination. But the vice principal herself made an impression, and looking back, she was a UU, all right. She ensured that we always had books by Black female authors in our literature curriculum and had special assemblies on MLK Day to learn more about Black history. There were only 5 Black students in the entire school, and 4 of them were in my class. So when we were planning our junior prom, she noted that we should take that into consideration when planning the music, since Black and white music tastes were often different. When she said that, I wasn't focused on the content of what she said. I was mortified that she had just called out the Black girls in the class, whom I was certain would not want attention like that called to their race. Of course, what I didn't understand then as a white 16-year-old was that the ability to ignore race is a feature of white privilege. And the Black girls in my class probably felt like their race was called out every day of their existence, not just when the vice principal mentioned it. Years later, there was a multi-week offering here at VUU on Zora Neale Hurston's book, Barracoon. And I signed up because Zora Neale Hurston was one of the authors our UU vice principal had us read in high school, and it piqued my interest. But this wasn't just a book club. It was an extension of the beloved Conversations curriculum our congregational treasures Beverly McCormick and Barb Quijada lovingly brought to our congregation a few years prior. Many of you here may have participated in one of those programs, which were frank discussions about race, and for me, healed wounds I didn't even realize I had. In that class, I remember one white congregant admitting that he tried to avoid conversations about race because he felt like he was walking on eggshells, always worried about saying the wrong thing. I think that goes for a lot of us Caucasians, particularly UUs, who like to think that we are allies at the forefront of racial equality, but have come to realize in the past few years that we have problems in our own congregations. So on this last Sunday of Black History Month, I would like to thank Reverend Sarah for not shying away from exploring race these last few Sundays, even in uncomfortable ways. And I'd like to thank Beverly McCormick for sharing her story with us a few Sundays ago. It seems to me that white people won't soon get over a discomfort speaking about race, and so the best first step may be not to speak at all, but to listen. Maybe the best way to celebrate Black History Month is to listen to the stories not just of famous Black Americans, but of ordinary Black Americans. If we worry about walking on eggshells, then let us try instead sitting, quietly listening and bearing witness to these experiences. And let us continue to do so past the month of February.
Please join us in singing Body and Spirit.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere.
There is more hope. One more.
There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere.
Maybe I'll just keep having y'all sing to me. How do we know what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist? Some of my best teachers are no longer alive, and yet still bring life to this tradition through the vibrant stories they've left behind. The poem I shared earlier from Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, one of our African-American Unitarian ancestors, and a shero to me. She was born free before the Civil War in 1825 and lived until 1911. She was a powerful leader and a voice for change. A writer, a lecturer, a political activist who promoted abolition, civil rights, women's rights, and temperance. She helped found or held high office in several national progressive organizations. And in her writing, she preached, as you heard in that poem, moral uplift and counseled the oppressed how to free themselves. She was committed to liberation, and she didn't think any of us should wait for someone else to offer it. I invite you to celebrate with me the courage of Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. She was part of the Underground Railroad, and after the war was over, she toured the South, speaking to large audiences, encouraging education for freed slaves, and aiding in Reconstruction. She could see the next steps folding. She had a clarity of vision and a pragmatic impulse to move into a plan. She implored her contemporaries to act and reminded them it was their duty to do so. She said a government which can protect and defend its citizens from wrong and outrage and does not is vicious. A government which would do it and cannot is weak. And where human life is insecure through either weakness or viciousness in the administration of law, there must be a lack of justice. And where this is wanting, nothing can make up the deficiency. Perhaps you'll hear an echo of her words and those of Dr. Martin Luther King later, who mentioned the inescapable network of mutuality. Her words were, "We are all bound up together in one great bundle of humanity, and society cannot trample on the weakest and feeblest of its members without receiving the curse in its own soul." Harper became first acquainted with Unitarians before the war due to their support of abolition and the Underground Railroad. When Harper and her daughter settled into Philadelphia in 1870, she joined the first Unitarian church there. After the war, she worked on voting rights for women and black men. Recognizing the ever-present danger of lynching, she reasoned that the African American community needed an immediate political voice. With that would come the possibility of securing further legal and civil rights. Now, she was forced to choose between being black and being a woman at that time. If only her voice had been centered, the story of voting rights might have been different. Harper wrote a great deal and had her works published frequently, and because of her many magazine articles, she was often called the mother of African American journalism. For me, Harper's life is a reminder that we must be engaged in the fights of our time and make the most of every opportunity we have to learn and grow ourselves at the same time that we work in solidarity to free all humans within our reach, always expanding our reach with our words, both written and spoken. And we must reach out to each other to offer healing and love. Now, she wasn't alone in this work, and it was theologically driven. Many of our Unitarian and Universalist ancestors in the late 18th century, regardless of race, grappled with the issues of equality and freedom. The Universalists believed that salvation was not just the result of Jesus' death on the cross, but also an extension of Jesus' life's example of unconditional love. They believed that salvation is for all of us, extended from the ministry and sacrifice of Jesus and guaranteed by an all-loving God. These beliefs led Universalist minister Elhanan Winchester to demand that blacks be baptized as well as whites, and led Universalist Dr. Benjamin Rush, who signed the Declaration of Independence and also founded the first hospital for the mentally ill, to also promote public education and also organize the first anti-slavery organization in the U.S. None of this work was clear or easy. None of it guaranteed to be successful, although from where we stand, it may seem that way. In fact, in the 19th century, we see many, many others following the moral compass to the urgent issues of their communities. Unitarian minister William Ellery Channing was a champion of the free press and inspired many leaders and reformers of this time, including, perhaps you know some of these names, Horace Mann, who championed schools, Dorothea Dix, who worked with prisoners and those with mental illness, Dr. Howe, who was an early disability activist, Julia Ward Howe, who was an early feminist, Joseph Tuckerman, who ministered to the poor, Elizabeth Peabody, who championed the early kindergarten movement, and many, many leaders in the abolition movement. One of our ministers, Reverend Theodore Parker, assisted runaway slaves, harboring them in his home and keeping a pistol under his pillow to defend this work. In these leaders, we may trace the beginnings of an ideal of the beloved community, a community of interdependence and social responsibility. But there were many barriers for early progressive leaders, especially those who weren't white. As our leader, Reverend Mark Morrison Reed, a current contemporary minister of mine, attests in his book called Black Pioneers in a White Denomination, early attempts in the 20th century by black ministers who converted to Unitarian humanism and religious belief did not find the support they needed to start churches in Jamaica and Harlem, Chicago, and other places. Our first African-American Unitarian minister, Reverend Egbert Ethelred Brown, is an example of a man who dedicated his life to bringing the Unitarian religious view to his community with very little support from the American Unitarian Association or other ministers in the young denomination. Reverend Richard Gilbert tells us in his book, The Prophetic Imperative, that while many of our Unitarian and Universalist ancestors were leaders in the areas, just as I told you, of social services and education, witness and action, they often struggled to bring these to the institutional support within the organized church and denomination. And yet, the Unitarian Universalist theology that developed from these strands emphasized the promise of beloved community, held a belief in the idea of salvation in this life, guided by a life-affirming spirit moving us into action, believed that evil is systemic and perpetuated by oppressive structures, although there are a few individuals that defy this notion, whom I might name as evil, and you might as well, and told us that humans have the capacity to love and create beauty as well as to destroy and harm others. All of which led us to see our faith as sacred circles of community and healing, or as I like to refer to them, courageous circles of love. We've struggled to support and sustain this work institutionally over and over again, to embody the words that we've made into principles and purposes, values and covenants. During the civil rights movement, our denomination, newly formed as Unitarian and Universalist, was faced with the challenge to support the work of African American leaders in our denomination and in the urgent work being engaged in many Black communities. At the time, a controversy of money offered in support of the work of Black empowerment erupted during our General Assembly in the late 1969 that resulted in a split in our leadership with dire consequences for the small steps we had taken to support African American leadership in the denomination. We are often missing a picture of congregations acting in concert with one another on behalf of civil rights, of our denomination understanding how to step forward meaningfully as an institution. And today we are faced with the ongoing struggles for civil and human rights in our own country and all over the world. In fact, it took our denomination several months to write a statement on the war in Gaza. We often struggle to find a shared voice and commitment to address the real situations we face every day to demand a moral and ethical response. We need the clarity and courage of those who are willing to engage the sometimes risky and often unacknowledged hard work to move us into coordinated, collaborative work that can coalesce into real change. Building a dialogue that will ignite us into action takes a willingness to be a match that is blown out and to find another one and strike until the flame is sure. I wonder, what moves you today as you listen to the news, as you move through your community, as you listen to the stories of friends and neighbors and family? Can you see the way in which your freedom is intertwined with the freedom of others? How our interdependence is, in fact, the ground of all being. One of the leaders of the new Poor People's Campaign, Reverend Dr. William J. Barber II, says that the most important word in the justice vocabulary is we. He urges us to connect with our spiritual and religious beliefs, our deeply held values, because he says we cannot come together to work for the common good by ignoring our deepest values. His ministry, much like Harper's, became a blend of organizing and pastoral care. From unions to prisons, from our wombs to schoolrooms, from pollution to gay marriage, from healthcare access to gun violence, we often allow ourselves to be caught up in single-issue analysis and allegiances, missing the opportunity to stand together. And Bishop Barber says we can't afford to do that. He describes the process of traveling his state and meeting a diverse range of people, hearing about their suffering and inviting them to hear and see each other as well, to connect the dots. And as he's led this movement that creates a moral fusion of political partners, people have begun to show up in larger and growing numbers at state capitals and in Washington, D.C. to demand moral, just solutions. I see him like Harper traveling across the South during Reconstruction. Barber says sometimes we had to hold hands and walk forward into the darkness, even when we didn't know what the next step would bring. Walking by faith wasn't easy. Barber tells us that the attack on LGBTQ people and rights and on reproductive choice was a way of ensuring that Black churches and gay people and women don't see themselves as in the same fight, that attacking immigrants and Muslims works the same way. Story after story, town after town, ordinary people have begun to make connections between their struggles and to build political power together, their interdependence made real in the public sphere. Barber says that the battle for the soul of America is being fought at the state level, and nothing short of a moral movement converging in every state capital will make possible the reconstruction we need to finally fulfill our nation's promise. Now, next weekend, in many state capitals around the country, including our own, the Poor People's Campaign, led by Bishop Barber, will be present, singing together and leading the way. And this congregation has already been engaged in this kind of work at the local level. Last week, our congregation joined with many other faith communities with a bill that gained attention from state leaders that connects the commitment of faith communities to building affordable housing. Yes, in God's backyard, we proclaimed. We've been meeting with state and local leaders to remind them that housing is a human right, and affordable housing is a building block to healthy communities. It's important to remember that this work isn't all about struggle and pain and challenge. It's about the human story, and humans need joy and love and connection. Amen? If we cannot find the joy located right inside of each of us, if we only will attend to it, we miss the real opportunities of connection and love and reimagining the world as it might be. So many of the activists I love best, like Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, are also poets and songwriters and dreamers, artists and folks who pray. They might be freedom fighters, but like Walt Whitman, they also live life fully, finding awe in nature and in other humans and life writ large. Harper was also a mother like me, and she reminds me that how we parent and mentor the next generation is a revolutionary act too. She says every mother should be a true artist who knows how to weave into her child's life images of grace and beauty, the true poet capable of writing on the soul of childhood the harmony of love and truth, and teaching them how to produce the grandest of all poems, the poetry of a true and noble life. When I think of the way that this congregation nurtures our young people, offering them affirmation for their unfolding identities and beliefs and a place to practice community and care, I know she is right. When I witness our kids as they develop their own voices and moral compass, as they write and speak and create from the truth they've discovered, I know she is right. This is how we will become resilient enough to return to the work that calls to us, and how we pass resilience back and forth between us. One of my best memories of working with Bishop Barber happened at the end of a training session I was at in Raleigh. We had been at it all day, learning and planning and strategizing. And as we began to close the day of training, Bishop Barber invited us to relax, to laugh and be silly, to dance. Y'all, he told dad jokes. He shared a glimpse of his whole self, his humor, his ability to let go and enjoy the people in the room. This work is seemingly never ending. There's no closure, really. If we are to engage this work, we must also commit to being fully alive, to being in relationship with each other and the planet we share, to embracing the joy that is the gift we must remember to keep opening. It will nourish and renew us and allow us to return to our work. Let us sing the songs of the people, and may those songs remind us of what is possible when we can sing them together. Blessed be.
And the people sang.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere.
Well, since Bishop Barber told dad jokes, here's one for the offering. When does it rain money? When there's change in the weather. Actually, it rains money when we here at VUU recognize what is needed to fund our mission. So thank you for your generosity, and will the ushers please come forward?
I like to read words that I appreciate, and I paraphrase just slightly from a colleague named Aisha Anasano. The Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, is a particular song that gets sung in schools, in churches, and at various MLK Day celebrations, and such as now in this month of February, over the course of Black History Month. It's a very, very powerful song, but it's often sung without context, and at times it's sung without a lot of intentionality, especially in white majority communities. And I have to say it, I'm a white music director. So, when we sing Lift Every Voice and Sing, do we pay close attention to the words? It's easy on a Sunday morning to open the hymnal or read the words up on the slides and sing along without necessarily processing what we're saying, what the words we're saying really mean. Words such as, sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Bitter the chastening rod felt in the days when hope unborn had died. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. Or, we have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. This song deserves to be sung with attention, yes? Yes. It is a song that starkly names the horrors and violence of racism in this country, and it is a song that should make us uncomfortable with the history that it calls upon. Uncomfortable with the fact that the struggle for racial justice continues and has not come quite so far as it should have by now. How can anyone sing the words, treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, without a deep, deep discomfort? So, when Jenny sings this song in a moment, and you guys, it's a treat, will you join me in listening with intentionality? Yeah, I'm seeing some nods. Will you join me in the deep discomfort that I will be feeling in hearing those words? Discomfort with the pain and the horror that those words refer back to, and discomfort with the fact that those words do not rely only to a distant history, but also to what is happening now, today. Will you commit to sitting with your own discomfort? And then, can we tap into that and do something and put it into action? Yeah? When Jenny sings, lift your voice and sing, can we as a community lift our voices too until earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty? Raise your hand. Yes. Yeah. All right. Amen.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun. Victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not a weary feet come to a place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out of the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou hast brought us this far on the way. Thou hast by Thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever, forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met Thee. Let Christ, our hearts drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee, shadowed beneath thy hand. May we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land.
Today it feels so simple. We are here to take care of each other. How could we ever forget? As if the soil could forget it is here to feed the trees. As if the trees could forget they are here to feed the soil. How could anything ever get in the way of generosity? How could we ever greet each other with any words besides, "How can I help you?" As if light could forget it is here to help illuminate. As if dark could forget it is here to help us heal.
All right, let's stand in body or in spirit for our closing song. It's a cappella, and if you know this little light of mine, you'll know this one. It's very simple. But I invite you to also maybe snap. Let's see, anyone can snap? Goes like this. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, oh, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. All this strength that I have, this strength that I have. Oh yeah, now
The world didn't give it to me.
the world didn't give it to me.
The strength that I have.
Oh yeah,
The world didn't give it to
the
me.
world didn't give it to me.
The strength that I have.
Oh yeah,
The world didn't give it to me.
oh I said the
World didn't give it.
the world can't take it away. All this love that I have.
Love that I have.
Oh yeah, now
The world didn't give it to
the
me.
world didn't give it to me.
This love that I have.
Oh yeah,
The world didn't give it to me.
don't you know that
This love that I have.
yeah, yeah,
The world didn't give it to me.
sing it.
The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away.
All this pride that I have, this pride that I have. Oh yeah, now
The world didn't give it to
the
me.
world didn't give it to me.
This pride that I have. The world didn't give it to me.
Don't you know that
This pride that I have.
yeah, yeah.
The world didn't give it to me.
Oh, I said the
The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away.
all this peace that I have.
This peace that I have. The world didn't give it to me.
The world didn't give it to me.
This peace that I have.
Oh yeah, now
The world didn't give it to me.
won't you sing about
This
peace?
peace that I have.
Oh yeah, now
The world didn't give it to me.
I said the
The world didn't give it. The world can't take it
Now let's say
away.
we, and let's look at each other. All this joy that we have.
That we have.
Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to us. Oh,
This joy that we have.
we say the world didn't give it to us. Don't we know that
This joy that we have. The world didn't give it to us.
Oh, I said the world didn't give it.
The world can't take it
The world
away.
didn't give it, and the world can't take it away.
The world can't give it. The world can't take it
The
away.
world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away.
The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away.
Go in courage and hope, for the arc of the universe is long. Go in courage, for together we have the strength to confront injustice in our daily lives and the larger world. Go in love, because a holy and generous love is both the reason and the means by which we transform our lives. Won't you join us in extinguishing the chalice with these words? Though we extinguish the chalice, our connection to each other and this community remains. May its light guide us this week as we walk the path of justice, speak words of love, and fill our world with compassion until we meet again. Blessings on your journey this week. If you're new and want to have a conversation, come to Welcome Circle. Don't forget, we're going to have soup. So bring your ingredients next week and come ready to be in communion with all. Blessed be.
This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me.
Don't you know that
This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me.
I said
The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away.
all this strength that I have, this strength
This
that
strength that I have,
Oh yeah, now
the world didn't give it to me.
the world didn't give it to me.
This strength that I have,
Oh yeah,
the world didn't give it to me.
the world didn't give it to me.
This love that I have,
Oh yeah,
the world didn't give it to me.
oh,
The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away.
all this love that I have.
This love that I have,
Oh yeah, now
the world didn't give it to me.
the world didn't give it to me.
This love that I have,
Oh yeah,
the world didn't give it to me.
don't you know that?
This love that I have,
Yeah, yeah.
the world didn't give it to me.
Sing it.
The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away.
All this pride that I have, this pride
This
that
pride that I have,
Oh yeah, now
the world didn't give it to me.
the world didn't give it to me.
This pride that I have,
Oh yeah,
the world didn't give it to me.
don't you know that?
This pride that I have,
Yeah, yeah.
the world didn't give it to me.
Oh, I said
The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away.
Oh, this peace that I have.
This peace that I have,
Ooh,
the world didn't give it to me.
the world didn't give me my
This peace that I have,
Oh yeah, now
the world didn't give it to me.
won't you sing about
This peace that I have,
Oh yeah, now
the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away.
all this joy that we have,
This joy that we have,
Oh yeah,
the world didn't give it to us.
the world didn't do
This
it.
joy that we have,
Oh yeah,
the world didn't give it to us.
don't we know that?
This joy that we have, the world didn't give it to us.
Oh, I said
The world didn't give it, the world can't take it
the world
away.
didn't give it, the world can't take it away.
The world didn't give it, The world can't take it away.
The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away.
The world didn't give